better than store-bought tartar sauce. And today I'm going to show you how to make it. Hey friends, it's Carrie here with eatingonadime.com. I have another recipe for you that I think you're going to love. It is tartar sauce. Friends, way better than the store-bought stuff. You're going to be impressed at how delicious this is because I don't really like tartar sauce and I love this tartar sauce. I hope that makes sense. But once you have this, you'll never want to go back to store-bought tartar sauce again. Now, if you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe. I don't want you to miss any more of our family-friendly recipes because we're on a mission to help families eat well on a budget. Now, you can find today's recipe linked below, as well as all the links for other recipes we might talk about and all the tools that we're going to use today. And remember, you can go to eatingonadime.com to get all of our free family-friendly recipes. Let's get right on to it. The first thing we need is an onion. Now, if you want to be really lazy, you could use a dehydrated onion because we only need a tablespoon. So it's not very much, but I love all the fresh ingredients in this recipe. But I'm not in your kitchen, so I'm not going to judge you if you do like a dehydrated onion or an onion powder. If you do an onion powder, do not do the whole tablespoon. That'll be too much. Now we're just going to thinly chop this. So I am just making really tiny slices. And before I show you how to chop the onion, check out my supervisor. Everybody say hi, Rio. He wants to make sure these onions are getting chopped correctly. So then I'm just going to go along the sides, and it's almost like a minced onion. So I'm going really small. Remember, it's just a tablespoon, so you don't need much. Once it's finished, to get them even smaller, I'm just going to keep bouncing my knife through it. Squish it back together and do it again. And I'm going to do this 3 or 4 times to make them really, really small. Make sure, oh, there's my supervisor again. He keeps stealing the show, guys. But make sure you use the bigger part of your knife when you're bouncing along, because if you do this, this doesn't work. Keep this on the edge and just bounce it around. And that's how you get these really, see the difference in the pieces? Here's the bigger pieces, and then now these beautiful minced. So now I just scooped it up and measured it with a tablespoon. Then we're going to do the same thing with pickles. We have some dill pickles. These are just pickle slices, fresh from the jar, so it's really not that fresh, but you get the point. And we need about a half a cup. Woo, that pickle got me. Toss it on my cutting board. We're going to cut it up into small pieces. I'm literally just leaving it in a pile and then dicing them up. It's just like the onions where I'm just kind of rocking and chopping it just to get them into smaller pieces. Now you could be serious and stack them up, and I don't want to do that. So this is how I'm doing it, and it works every single time. Oh, there's no puppies. Everybody say hi. Maybe we need to start a puppy channel because all the puppies want to be in the videos, friends. You can remove the sound. Just put it on when I'm talking about finely chopping it up. Good. Then we're going to add those pickles into the bowl. Juices and all. Now it's time for fresh dill. We need about a half a tablespoon, so about a half of this. If you want to, you could just pick them out and measure them in. I like doing fresh dill. You can do dried dill. Make sure you go to our recipe because I can't remember off the top of my head like how much you need. Hold on, my fingers are getting kind of from all the pickles. So what I'm doing on this dill is I'm just picking off the little limbs. You can run your knife through it and chop it if you want to, but since my cutting board is all wet, I'm not doing that today. And we want to fill this up about halfway full. Now, what I was saying, I think I got sidetracked, is make sure you go to eatingonadime.com and see that full recipe because we tell you like how much dehydrated onion to put in, how much if you're going to do dried dill. But we love the fresh dill. It's not very expensive and it's totally worth it. And it doesn't take a lot of effort. Then we're going to toss that right in. I'm going to scrape some that got stuck. Then we need a tablespoon of lemon juice. You could do the store-bought, or again, today we're doing fresh. Tablespoon's kind of hard when you're doing fresh. You could squeeze it over and measure it, but I'm not going to do that. They say usually a whole lemon has 2 to 3, so about a half-ish, depending how big your lemon is. So I'm just going to squeeze it until I think. I'm going to go by my heart. Who here cooks by their heart? Okay, that looked pretty good, which is about a half of a squeeze on my lemon, but my lemon was really, really big. Then we need a cup of mayonnaise, not Miracle Whip, real traditional mayonnaise. We're going to scoop that right in. Now I have to bring my giant jar of sugar. Go ahead and make fun of you for my giant jar of sugar. If you haven't been around, you don't know the story, but my sugar jar broke and I have this one laying around. I'm going to get a better one, just not today. So we're going to do a tablespoon of sugar right in there. Then we just need salt and pepper, and we're already almost done. So a half a teaspoon of pepper and a quarter of a teaspoon of salt. And then we mix it together. You could whisk it. I kind of just like using the spatula because it's kind of chunky, so the whisk is kind of hard to whisk it all together. It already looks just like tartar sauce. After it's all mixed, then you're going to do a quick little taste test and decide, do I need more lemon? I'm going to put just a smidgen more lemon. You could also add more pickles based on your personal preference. But I feel like it needs a little bit more of that zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. Okay, now we're going to refrigerate this. And let's do another taste test. Don't judge. I use the same. Oh yeah, that's good. Sorry. Kind of went down a little bit. Oops. Okay, so now we're going to go off to the fridge and we're going to refrigerate this just a little bit so that way it can get nice and cold and chilled, because there's nothing worse than room temperature warm tartar sauce. So we're going to put this in the fridge and I'll see you in a little bit. It's ready. Okay, so we let this chill for at least 30 minutes. Now the 30 minutes will help all the flavors combine, and honestly, you're going to really love it once you do that, just because, well, the flavors combine. That dill gets all incorporated. Now I've got some fish sticks and some French fries, but tartar sauce is good on so many things, but just for a quick taste test. I'm going to just put this in a cute little serving bowl. Now, what's great about this tartar sauce is you don't have to make it every single time you need tartar sauce, because it will actually stay in your fridge for up to 2 weeks as long as it's in an airtight container. So you just need a container with a lid and you're good to go. So you can have homemade tartar sauce whenever you want without actually having to do all the work. Okay, it's time for my favorite part, the taste test. We're going to start off with a French fry. That's some good tartar sauce. That's it. That's how easy it is to make tartar sauce at home. Remember, the full recipe linked in the description, or you can just go to eatingonadime.com and you'll find this recipe as well as all of our family-friendly recipes. Okay, I'm out of here, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to eat at home by eating on a dime. Bye, friends.